hashtag Lions, what defensive tackle would Brad Holmes draft that no one is even talking about? Can be anywhere in the draft. Gervon Dexter from Florida. They went to Florida 5 times over there. Dexter is a late second, third-round draft prospect defensive tackle that TA from Raw Detroit seen on showed me to, and I say, you know what? He would fit well if they're looking to get a defensive tackle and they haven't got one yet. What is someone for you, Mark Orem, DT?
I like Mazi Smith from Michigan. He'd be a second-round pick. You know, he's going to push the pocket. He's going to collapse the pocket. He's not going to get too many quarterback pressures, though. But he's a really athletic defensive tackle that stuffs the run, plays the run like a monster. It just takes on double teams, man. This team could not stop the run last year. And you get a 340-pound kid like Mazi Smith who just plugs up the middle, takes on double teams, a center and a guard. You let guys like Anzalone and Malcolm Rodriguez and whoever other linebacker run free. That's who I like. I like Mazi Smith, and I don't think he's getting enough talk, which I'm surprised because he's a Michigan product. You know, he got some character issues apparently, but he's a guy that plays the run super, and he's super athletic too. And if he even gets down a little bit of some of that pass rush, I think he'd be a real good force in the NFL.
Devin Davis, hashtag smash the hole. Do you see a scenario of us trading up from 18? If so, who would be besides Bijan Robinson? First off, I do see a situation where they can trade up. Why? Because we did it last year, 32 all the way to 12. So if there's a player they like, I could definitely see it. Who could it be? Maybe a Devon Witherspoon. If he fell a little bit, they do like that type of player where you're smashing your opponents in the face, the line of scrimmage, understanding that we only have 2 corners on next year, and he is a Dan Campbell type of guy. That's exactly what he is. He is a hitter. I'm sure you've seen the highlight videos of him smacking receivers. He is a Quandre Diggs on steroids. I loved Diggs when he was in Detroit because he loved hitting receivers. Anytime a receiver would get down the middle, he's going for the hit, and it makes the receivers think twice. So I think that could be a player the Lions would look to trade up for. Or an offensive lineman. I know that sounds crazy, but maybe like a Peter Skoronski starts falling a little bit. They're like, you know what? We don't know what's going on with the guard position this year. Can you trust Big V? Can you trust having an injury-prone right guard this year and the next year? What are we going to do with Taylor Decker? You can draft a Skoronski. He plays guard this year. You can move him to right guard next year and Penei Sewell to left. That's an option. What do you think, Mark Orem, potentially of them trading up, and who would you think it'd be for?
What, trading up from
18 to say, like, I don't know, 12 or something like that, or 11?
It just all depends. Like maybe they fall in love with a corner. You know, there's some talk about Devon Witherspoon if they would do that. I think if they're going to trade up, though, I think they're going to get an impact player right away. And I would hope it would be a linebacker. But like Dan said, Brad Holmes he doesn't value linebackers that much.
No.
I really like a guy like a Trenton Simpson. I think that guy is a utility knife.
Yep, that's my LB one.
Everywhere. He plays everywhere. Go up and get a guy like that. He can cover, plays the run well. He gets to the quarterback. He does everything. He plays multiple positions. And Brad Holmes has made it clear just by doing what he does in free agency and draft, he goes after versatility. He goes after guys that are so versatile. So I know they've already visited with Trenton Simpson like 2 or 3 times apparently. So they probably like him a lot. He could be a guy that maybe Brad Holmes goes up and gets, you know, because he plays every single position, not just linebacker. So I really like Trenton Simpson. If you're going to go up and get someone, go get Trenton. He's the man.
Right now, we got 203 in the building on YouTube. Go ahead and smash that like button. If we get to 100 likes, we're going to do the Ultra Combo. Right now, that's the Combo Breaker, but we will get to Ultra Combo. It's always fun. Who is your favorite coverage linebacker in this year's draft? I'd say like Diane Hanley. I think he's a really good coverage linebacker. I think he's sideline to sideline. He's not my favorite linebacker in this year's draft, but for coverage-wise, if you're tired of getting destroyed in the middle, I think he would be the perfect guy for you there. He'll probably be available in the second round. That would go, if you're going just for coverage, I would think that would be the guy. Dan, what do you think about linebacker?
I mean, if we got to draft somebody in the second round, maybe Drew Sanders. We already talked about Campbell. Swells, I think he's too slow and just not good in coverage. To me, Tua might slip down. Somebody can get in the maybe fifth or something like that. I think the problem that we're going to face at linebacker is what do you do with James Houston? I think they're going to move him to linebacker next year, especially if we end up getting somebody else who can get after the quarterback from the edge. He's going to be able to blitz a little bit more. Plus, we play so much nickel package. I do think we're going to see a lot of 3 safety looks where one of the safeties is going to come down and play weak side, and they're going to basically pick up the running back or the tight end. So the other reason why I don't foresee us drafting linebacker too high is for that reason. We're typically, 60% of the time only going to have one linebacker out there. First downs, sure, we'll have 3, but if it's, second and long, third and long, you're only going to see one backer out there.
What I like about this group of linebackers in this year's draft, there's a linebacker for pretty much any type of football team. You got the coverage linebacker, you got the all-around in Dan Campbell, you got the Swiss Army knife in Trenton Simpson, you got potentially a groomer there in Noah Sewell, Drew Sanders, he's a little more athletic. So I think it's a really good crop of linebackers for whatever you're looking for in the up-and-coming draft. I think. And it's a second round, too. Really great value in round 2. It'll probably start at the end of round 1, but round 2, I think you're going to see a massive run on linebackers in that round. $5 super chat here from Paul Ginder, #FGB. Do you guys think that anybody can guess what Brad Holmes is going to do? He is a genius at keeping people guessing on what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do. I'm going to tell you right now, he is stunning when it comes to his poker face. Thank you so much for the $5 super. The guy he keeps it on, and I have no idea what the guy is going to do. Mark, what do you think that Brad Holmes is going to do? Do you have any inclination that he's going to go a certain way?
No idea, man. The one thing I love about Brad Holmes is that he says a lot of words, and people come out going, what's he going to do? He's the perfect, he doesn't sell anything too much. He doesn't tell you what they have plans, and he kind of telling you at the same time what they're going to do, but you just can't figure it out. So I love the way he talks. He talks a lot with, from the heart. He is transparent, but in a way where you still can't figure out what he's saying, but it's just, we don't know what he's going to do. We didn't know he was going to go get C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We didn't know he was going to get David Montgomery. So, it's all kind of up in the air what he's going to do. I don't even know what position he's going to take at 6, man. I just don't. I don't even know. It's all guesswork for me right now.
You know what I like about prospect Mike Hunt? He's always open.
He's a good one, eh? What school does he come from?
He comes from Hell, Michigan.
Oh, good old Mike
please,
Hunt.
Lord, trade up for Anderson. Would you trade up for Will Anderson, Dan? Go from 6 to 3.
No. You're going to have to give up too much. And I like Anderson, but the other problem is, just like we were talking with Houston, where are you going to put them both? On obvious passing downs, third downs, maybe you can move one to the opposite edge of Hutchinson, but somebody's got to play out wide as a backer, and I don't think you're going to have both of them out there. It's just not going to be very effective. I like Anderson, but are you going to give up potentially 2 firsts and a second to move up there and get him? Yeah, probably not.
I don't disagree with Dan much, but I got to disagree on that one.
Go ahead.
I got to disagree with you, brother. I think he's a guy that you go get, and I think he's going to be an outside. I think he's probably in the NFL. He's probably going to be that outside linebacker rush type of guy because he is only about 240, 250 pounds. Right. So he's not going to be a consistent defensive end for you. And I think right now, James Houston, he needs a lot of work, man. He needs a lot of work on his run defense. He needs work on his passing coverage. So, he's going to get to the quarterback. I think that's going to be Houston's thing right now, obviously from last year going into the 2023 season. But a guy like Will Anderson does not come off the field. He just won't come off the field. I would go up and get him. Obviously, I'd want to know what they want. What am I going to give up for him? So he's a guy that I would really, really consider going up, Will Anderson, because I think he's a special, special talent.
Why are all the NFL Network commentators mocking tight ends the first round of Detroit? Makes no sense to me. They have an addiction with tight ends to the Lions. I really don't understand it. It's just 24/7 tight end. Every single mock draft that is in big media has a tight end going first. I don't understand why. Because we traded TJ Hawkinson. That is the only reason why. But they haven't realized we got better when we traded TJ Hawkinson. We did not get worse. Dan made a fantastic video, by the way, on the reason why we got better. He told me about it. I said, Dan, make that video, post it on YouTube, and it went viral. Because it is exactly the reason why we don't need an elite tight end. We just don't, Dan, and I'm going to let you explain.
The basics, let's start with this. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, you watch the offense, how much do we really target the tight ends? We only get them in less than obvious situations where we set up some sort of goal line package. Hawkinson, he's a good player. If you throw him the ball enough, he's going to put up some good numbers. Think back to last year, the only game in Detroit he had a breakout game is when the receiving core was decimated. Virtually everybody except you and me watching were out there or not out there for Detroit wide receivers. Because of that, the volume of catches went up for him. Now, once all the healthy receivers came back, Hawkinson struggled to perform. His route running isn't great. His catching, it's not bad, but you watch him with us or Minnesota, he drops the ball a lot. His ability to come out of breaks, and this is the biggest thing I put in that video. If you watch him, the reason why I think when Goff got traded, and I apologize if I'm not 100% right, remember this, Goff had, I want to say 4 picks or something like that when Hawk got traded. No, 5 picks. 4 of them went on throws to Hawk. Why? Because when you watch his footwork, when you watch his hips, when he comes out of breaks, it's just not very good. Now, after he got traded, Goff went, whatever it was, the next 10 games, only threw 1 pick and none to tight ends. The tight ends we currently have are all blocking tight ends that don't command a lot of coverage details from defensive coordinators. Because of that, they get forgotten about in obvious passing downs. Think about the big play at the end of the Jets game last year. Nobody picked up on him because in a pressure situation, nobody on that defense recognized that a tight end was even an option for them. And that's why I just don't think we're going to draft somebody in the first, second, or third round at tight end, because based on what Holmes likes to do and what the offense coordinator Ben Johnson likes to do with the tight ends, they're just not primary receivers. And that's why defensive coordinators forget about them and then they burn you. As soon as you start investing into them, you're going to have to now figure out how to get targets for those people, which means Ben Johnson now has to take targets and reps away from the receivers that are more primary options for.
Perfect.